If you would like to enjoy all my work ad-free, as well as exclusive Sleepy Cat stories and more perks, then please consider becoming a patron and supporting this channel at patreon.com/sleepycatmeditations. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who have already helped Sleepy Cat along the way. You make all of this possible. And now, I hope you enjoy tonight's creation. A warm welcome to part 1 of this magical sleep story, where you are the main character. Tonight, you will visit friends in a very special place that I am sure you will recognize. Before we begin, we will do a short relaxation session, preparing you for a good night's sleep. Please remember that there is no right or wrong here, and there is no particular way that you should feel in these moments. Each experience is as unique as us all, so try to let go of any pressure you might be putting on yourself to feel certain things, or perhaps to fall asleep quickly tonight. It doesn't matter if you do or you don't. If you simply follow my voice and allow this story to wash over you, then you will enter a world of deep relaxation where you can rest and recover. So, when you are ready, just feel the eyelids becoming heavier and heavier with each passing blink until they gently close. Remind yourself that this is your time to relax. There is nothing left to do and nothing left to think. The day is done now. Whatever has happened is already in the past, and here, in this moment, the future is beyond our reach. So if thoughts arise about the day or the week that has been, or the days ahead of you, then acknowledge that these thoughts are completely normal and valid. They are part of what makes us human, which is a wonderful thing. But also kindly remind yourself that these thoughts or concerns are of no use to us now, and tonight there is no need to engage with them. They are simply thoughts, as fleeting as shooting stars across a night sky. You are safe tonight, and you are protected. You can be reassured by the fact that my voice and this story will never take you anywhere that is unpleasant. Your sleepy cat is simply here to guide you on your own twilight adventures and to help you enter a world of magic and peace where you can be completely free. And now we will do a short guided breathing pattern called 3-4-5. This will allow you to slow down and relax, preparing your body and your mind for a wonderful, peaceful rest. When you are ready, breathe in through the nose for 3. Hold for 4. And breathe out for 5. Let all of it go now. Again, that's in for 3. Hold for 4. And release, blowing away the thoughts of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Again, in for 3. Hold. And let it go. Continue to breathe in this way in your own time, and with each breath out, allow your body to sink just that bit deeper. And now allow the breath to fall back into a natural rhythm. Enjoy this new peace flowing through your body. As you feel these new sensations and go deeper into a world of comfort, you can allow your mind to soften and your imagination to unlock as we prepare to go on a magical journey and enjoy part 1 of a holiday at the Weasley Burrow. You find yourself waking up in your bedroom in the early hours of the morning. Outside it is still dark, but the very tip of the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon, painting the sky in a very faint golden hue. Your eyes wander around your room, and on your bedside table rests a very important letter, one that arrived last night. You decide to take another look just to make sure that today is really happening. The letter reads, "Be ready by the first light of the morning and wait by your window. Look forward to seeing you, Ron." You feel a surge of excitement in your stomach. Today is the day. Your broomstick rests in one corner of the room behind your suitcase, which is all packed and ready, with your animal fast asleep in their cage on top. The hard shell of your suitcase is decorated in the 2 colors of your wizarding house, and suddenly faint memories flash through your mind as you reminisce on the sorting ceremony and that magical night you first arrived at the castle and joined your house. And just then you hear it, the low purr of a car engine far off in the distance. Only this car doesn't use the roads. Appearing out of thin air on the horizon, you see a light blue car flying over the rooftops. And as it gets closer, you can hear the exhaust cough and splutter. You smile at the incredible sight in front of you, and you are reminded just how much you love magic. Before you know it, the car pulls up alongside your bedroom window, and inside you see 4 of your friends, all with lovely ginger hair, freckles on their noses, and equally cheeky smiles. There are the 2 twins, Fred and George, their brother Ron, and the youngest sister Ginny, all waiting for you to get in. The boot of the car pops open, and you throw in your case and your broomstick. Ginny opens the door closest to you, and you climb in from your window and onto the back seat, bringing your animal with you and putting them on your lap. Ron tells you they're sorry for waking you so early, but they can't risk being seen by muggles now, can they? You share a smile and gesture to Fred, who is driving, that you are ready to leave. He gives you a mischievous wink as he flicks a silver switch on the dashboard, activating a powerful invisibility spell. A strange and fuzzy feeling comes over you as you see the front bonnet fade out of sight, but inside everything is still visible. The car begins to pick up pace and climbs above the rooftops and away from your house. As you look down onto the street, you see a muggle walking their dog, but they are blind to your presence above them, and the rest of the village is still fast asleep, completely unaware of this magical journey that you are taking. You realize just how fortunate you are to be here now. The sun has half risen over the rooftops now and casts an enchanting glow across the sky. The clouds become infused with golden light, as if formed in heaven itself. And as you drive towards a large, thick cloud in front of you, you feel as though you are about to enter a completely new world. Laughter and excitement fills the car as you soar through the golden white mist. You have heard so many stories about this car and have dreamed of the day you might fly in it. And now, here you are, soaring over the earth, through the clouds, and above the sunrise. You can hardly believe that you are finally here. Before you know it, the car emerges from the top of the cloud, and you are met with a blast of sunlight and a beautiful green horizon filled with rolling hills and dark green forests. There are collections of birds dancing and singing in the fresh morning light and weaving through the trees. And then George rolls down his window with a mischievous chuckle and casts a spell in front of the car. A kaleidoscope of color begins to spiral in front of you, creating a rainbow tunnel which the car flies straight through. Peppered through the multitude of color is a golden stardust created by the morning sun piercing through the rainbow. The car follows the tunnel in long, sweeping corners and over colorful hills You feel a wonderful sensation in your body, and your muscles begin to soften with the magic of the rainbow. Your thoughts begin to fade, and you are filled with a new clarity, comfort, and peace. It's as if you are being guided on this adventure, and all you have to do is let go. You have the chance to completely surrender to this moment, to surrender to the beautiful enchantments that surround you. Gradually, the rainbow road begins to dissolve, and the infinite landscape opens up once again. Below you is a long, curved bridge with enormous archways made of grey brick. On top of the bridge runs a train track, a very familiar sight, for this is the journey that you make every year to study at the finest wizarding school in the world. The car flies over the bridge, and you descend into a huge valley filled with a shimmering lake and backed by the still rising sun. As you glide over the vast lake, you reach your hand out of the window and trace your fingers in the water. You take a slow, deep breath of this beautifully fresh morning air, and you feel all the worries of yesterday, today, and tomorrow simply leave your mind, carried off by the enchanting breeze. You are completely free. Your journey has only just begun, and yet already you feel so enveloped in this world of magic. You cannot quite comprehend how this could get any better, but somehow you know that the best is yet to come. The car pulls back and takes to the sky again, and you are now soaring over huge cornfields of green and yellow. In the distance, you see a solitary wooden cottage rising up high above the ground. Each floor slants in a slightly different direction, giving the cottage a zigzag shape, and it almost looks as if there are 3 or 4 mini houses stacked on top of one another. The bottom floor is made of grey stone and thick wooden beams, while the top floor is made of wood panels and held in place by wooden supports coming up from the lower roof. At the top is a crooked chimney which puffs out a gentle silver smoke. And it's now, as you take in all the lovely, quirky features of this cottage, that you are greeted by a homely comfort and a total peace, as if you know now that everything will be okay. The car descends slowly and lands with a surprising smoothness on the long dirt road leading up to the house. As you come to a stop, the twins turn to you in unison, beaming from ear to ear. welcome home. When you leave the car, you are met by the delicious smell of bread baking. And as you look to the front door, there stands the head of the house wearing a thick grey cardigan. Her kind and gentle face is impossible to forget. Mrs. Weasley takes you in her arms with a welcoming smile. You share a tight hug as she swishes you from left to right, relieved you've all arrived home safely, and you feel a surge of warmth and motherly love embracing you. She has an angelic aura that completely relaxes you, and in her presence you feel as though nothing in this world could possibly harm you. You are safe here, and you are protected. As you enter the front door, you remove your shoes and come first to the kitchen. The small stone fireplace gurgles gently, heating up the entire house. The brown panelled windows are small, but still they let in a huge amount of light. The wooden beams crisscross along the ceiling, and the clay-coloured tiles cover the floor in a diamond pattern. In the middle of the kitchen is a long wooden table, big enough for all the family, and a special guest, of course. No two chairs are the same design or colour. They all have their own character, and thrown over the table is a checkered cloth of green, yellow, and red. To your left is a tall grandfather clock. There are many clock hands, each with the face of one member of the family, and around the clock face are descriptions of where they might be, such as at work, at school, or flying the car without permission. Right now, however, all of the faces are safely at home. On the table is a loaf of bread, freshly baked and still warm to the touch. You watch Mrs. Weasley wave her wand as a bread knife lifts off the table and begins to slice through. As a piece falls onto the board, there is a light steam rising from the bread. Then a small pot of butter drifts over to the table and spreads a thin layer onto the bread. With a kind smile, Mrs. Weasley floats it onto a small plate and hands it to you. The smell is incredible, and as you take your first bite, you feel the soft, warm and fluffy texture and the beautiful fresh taste, coupled with that lovely melted butter. You wonder if this bread might be enchanted, because as you eat, you feel your body start to soften and become comfortably heavy. Your heart is light and giddy, and your mind is clear and free. Here, in this moment, nothing else matters. You thank Mrs. Weasley with a smile and continue to explore the burrow. You shuffle into the lounge, and there is the second head of the house enjoying a short morning nap. His floppy hat has fallen over his eyes, and he has begun to snore quite loudly. Ginny runs to her father with blushing red cheeks and wakes him quickly. Mr. Weasley looks at you and at once recognizes your face. He speaks your name with a gentle voice and takes your hand in his, giving you a warm handshake and welcoming you to his home. There is a soft rug underneath you which wraps around your feet like a heated blanket. You wiggle your toes as you enjoy this warmth running through your feet. In the lounge are 2 armchairs and 1 big sofa. Across all of them are a collection of different coloured blankets and hand-stitched cushions, all homemade, of course. You take a seat in one of the armchairs, and the blankets and cushions are as soft as clouds. In the corner, you spy a pair of knitting needles that are working away on their own, making something new, but you can't quite figure out what it is just yet. There is a crooked wooden bookshelf behind the sofa, filled with manuscripts and books, old and new, and the rich smell of parchment is incredibly enticing. You reach in and take out 2 books. The first, a collection of children's wizard stories. You flick through gently, enjoying the fun stories and the beautiful hand-drawn pictures. There are rabbits in the meadows, wizards crossing dangerous rivers, and dragons flying over mountains. The second book is much older. The pages are filled with mysterious runes and ancient texts, and etched across the top of one of the pages is the word boring in capital letters, and you recognize Fred's handwriting. With a smile, you close the book and take a moment to look around this magical home, with its old grey stonework, the wooden beams above you, the log fire burning, and the peaceful sounds of the burrow. It is simply perfect. Every inch of this cottage is filled with an unmistakable charm, an unmistakable comfort and love. This is such a special place, and you feel blessed to be here and to be friends with this wonderful family. You lift yourself up from the armchair and head towards the thin wooden stairs. But before you can get there, the twins tap you on the shoulder. You turn to see them and the rest of the family dressed in full Quidditch gear in the red and gold colours of their house. Fred and George are carrying small clubs in one hand and their broomsticks in the other. You glance to your left and see Ron wearing a thick leather helmet that squeezes his cheeks and almost covers his eyes, and he gives you a slightly nervous smile. Outside the window, you see the large open garden, and at each end stands 3 tall hoops. With an infectious energy, Ginny asks if you'd like a quick game. In an instant, you race to your belongings, shuffle on your own Quidditch gear, grab your trusty broomstick, and run outside with the family into the hot afternoon sun. Even Mr. Weasley has decided to join in, for old time's sake, he tells you, and Mrs. Weasley has reluctantly agreed to referee. However, she is sure to remind you all many times to be extra careful. And no fisticuffs, please, George. Two of the eldest brothers, Bill and Charlie, are visiting home for the weekend and have raced downstairs to play too. Bill announces to the family that Percy, their perfect prefect brother, is too busy studying and writing love letters to his imaginary girlfriend to come and join the fun. Being the guest, you get to choose who is on your team and what position you play. You make sure to choose wisely, for a loss against any Weasley is something one never quite lives down. As the game begins, you take to the air on your broom and fly to your position. You soar around the grounds of the Burrow, dodging the bludgers and working well with your teammates as your team scores the first goal. It is quickly followed, however, by a goal from the other side. You watch the quaffle fly over your head and through your left goalpost. Laughter, excitement, and cheer fills the air as the game continues on. Another goal from the opposition, but your team is quick to respond, and with 4 quick passes, there is an equalizer. The game goes on like this, with goals back and forth, and neither team taking a clear lead. It is too close to call, and with the score level now, the next goal will win the match. No one on either side seems able to finish that winning shot. You have grown quite competitive now, and you really would like to win this game, so you decide to take things into your own hands. You catch the quaffle mid-air, and you begin a swooping maneuver over the top of the house. You fly around a huge oak tree at the end of the garden, and you manage to shake off whoever was on your tail. You pass to a teammate, and they return it in a quick 1-2, and you are now one-on-one with their keeper. You feint left, then dodge past the keeper to the right, and throw the quaffle straight through the middle hoop, winning the game. Your team surrounds you as you land in the garden, all of you laughing and cheering as Mrs. Weasley brings the game to an end. You celebrate your close victory and lovingly tease the losing side, who are still smiling despite their defeat. In the next moment, Mrs. Weasley announces that she is going back inside, for there is much to do around the house before the feast tonight. Then she shuffles over to you and Ron and asks if you wouldn't mind clearing those naughty gnomes from the garden. Mrs. Weasley gives you a smile and gently squeezes your cheek affectionately, thanking you before you even have a chance to respond. As the rest of the family head back inside, Ron reassures you that actually De-Gnoming is quite fun. The little terrors have been turning up all the flowers, he tells you, and Mum goes mad about it. We never hurt them though, Ron says. Just send them a little bit dizzy and pop them over the garden wall. They stumble around for days, confused, and it takes them weeks to find their way back. As you approach the end of the garden, you spot two mischievous gnomes rummaging away under an upturned bush of purple geraniums. On the count of 3, Ron says, grab it by the leg and swing it around over your head. You sneak up as quietly as a mouse and wait for his command. 1, 2, 3. You pick up the garden gnome and swing it around in a windmill over your head. Suddenly, you are greeted by a tiny voice.
Whee!
You cannot help but chuckle with Ron, and together you run over to the garden wall and place them gently on the other side. The little gnomes stumble around very disoriented and occasionally bumping into each other. Problem solved for now, it seems. With a quick spell, Ron puts the upturned flowers back into their place and then tells you to follow him. Dinner won't be ready for a little while, and he wants to take a nap by the stream. You follow behind and make your way through a garden gate that leads down a grassy footpath. The afternoon sun is starting its descent now, and the air is gradually cooling down. Before you know it, you arrive at a small trickling stream that runs around the side of the house, and next to it is a soft embankment of long green grass. You both flop down into the soft grass and allow it to completely take your weight as you give yourself permission to let go and relax. The gentle sound of the stream is coupled with a sunset lullaby that seems to radiate all around you. The hypnotic melody is beautifully calming. You feel your eyes drooping as every blink becomes heavier. Your body completely softens, and your mind empties now as your thoughts drift away down the trickling stream. Gradually, you begin to imagine all the details of what a Weasley feast might entail. You allow these lovely images and the memories from your day so far to gently enter and leave your mind. It is safe for you to let go, to surrender to all of the beautiful magic and the wonderful sensations. You know that here in this world, at this cozy burrow, you are well looked after and you are protected. Bit by bit, you are going deeper, deeper, and deeper. You are at one with this enchanted place and drifting off into the most peaceful slumber